All righty. What's going on, everybody? I hope everything is fine. I hope everything is clear. I hope you guys can hear us. If you do not hear us, let me know so I can fix it. After 2 years, I'm still having issues with audio stuff, and that's even on wrestling shows. What's going on, everybody? My name is Chris Classic, and we have a special guest again. Do you mind telling them who you are once more?
Hi, everybody. I'm Sensational Shay.
Who are you, Sensational Shay?
I'm your wife.
Darn right. Before we go any further, I want to say this real quick. I want to say I have my opinions on it. My wife has her own opinions. We agree with some things. We may disagree with something between each other, but she is a woman, a beautiful woman, and she has faced a lot of men, including me. And I wanted her insight, and I wanted to hear exactly what it is, what she likes and what she doesn't like, and we're going to talk on that. But before I do that, I do want to talk about what's going on in the future. You guys know I got to give a shout out to a lot of people in the shows that I'm at or am supporting. So next month is Now and Forever. This is the 12-year anniversary of Now That's Wrestling. I'm glad and blessed to be part of it. I am going against Mike Jarrett for the title. Intense. I've beaten a lot of people there. I've had great matches there. And this was the one that I have a 1 in the draw column, and I don't like that. So it's going to be a great show. You got to root these rules for the tag team match. I don't even know what that is. Salem Crane returns. Brooke Tanner returns. Randy Fitzsimmons is the new Mid-Valley champion. It's going to be a dope show. Then in March 4th is a Tough Luck by True Privilege Wrestling. It's going to be a great show. Do not miss that. I don't have a single graphic for March 25th for Road to Honor by Now That's Wrestling, but we are back at the Dome. February 25th, we're at Holidays Pub and Grill. We're there again, and then we'll return back to the Dome, and that's going to be dope. And then also our 10th show. C3 Ultimate Wrestling 10, the show of all shows. You guys do not want to miss it. So we're doing it big. It's going to be awesome. Shout out to my sponsors, Limelight Comics, A Penny for Your Thoughts by Young Expressions, Sweets for Your Soul Cookies. Good Lord. I also wanted to say today at 7 Central Time, some of you guys know and some of you guys do not know, I'm a deacon at Kingdom Crusaders International Ministries. And the pastor and the first lady, they asked me to speak on what is love in the Bible, what is biblical love. So that's at 7 tonight Central Time. I will share it, so if you don't catch it live, you can look at it and stuff like that. So if you guys want to look at that, that'd be dope. That'd be awesome. So you guys know me and God, we real close. We have comments real quick. Okay, it's Robert Lafayette, Indiana, in the building. What's happening, y'all? What's up, Robert? God bless you, sir. Hope everything is going great with you. This is my wife. This is my wife, my partner, co-owner of C3 Ultimate Wrestling. This is Sensational Shay. She is one of the, if not the reason why I'm a wrestler and I have a company today. So this is my lady. This is my sweet lady. Let me see. Going back into the pictures. So we have thoughts on Intergender Wrestling featuring my beautiful wife, Sensational Shay. If you guys have any comments, any questions, y'all can leave them in. We'll talk on it. We'll back up off on it. We'll pick up and then we'll talk about what we like and what we don't like and everything like that. So without further ado, what do you like about intergender wrestling?
What do I like? Well, the first thing I like is usually if it's done right, it's like a shock factor. Not a lot of times you'll see men going against women at a normal day basis, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the shock factor. And I also like the fact that women can showcase their talents. A lot of the times we get 3-minute matches, or it may not be enough room on the card for us to wrestle, whatever the case may be. So, not only you got a spot, but you going against, a guy that usually bring a lot of attention, to that particular woman.
I do notice that, like, since I started, is that sometimes it's, especially back then when I started in 2012, it's kind of difficult to get 2 women, you know what I'm saying, let alone a woman to wrestle for the show, because sometimes the women, they start training and they're going against guys and stuff like that. And sometimes it is hard, at that time it was hard to find it. So you do see a lot of women going against the guys, or in mixed tags, or like handicaps, or certain things, of women having a manager role and things like that. So, for women to get an opportunity, I do see a positive in that. So
yeah, a lot of time, most women are trained by guys. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get these. Robert says, as was up, if I may ask y'all. Yes, we have. I've faced her before in an intergender match. We'll talk about that shortly. Intergender wrestling hasn't been interesting since China.
See?
That's a topic that we will talk about. Okay, he said that too. Okay, so yeah, I definitely understand. And I when I was doing regular Facebook lives, I was talking about, like, sometimes a woman wrestler will want to go against a woman, and sometimes a wrestler's girlfriend, they'll literally try to train her in like 5 to 10 minutes for like a 2-minute match, which isn't safe, and it's not a good thing to do anyway. But sometimes that's how some people got started. It's not, you should really do training on how to bump and how to do stuff, because I've seen people, not even just women, some guys just try to train somebody in 5 minutes. To me, that's disrespectful to the business as well. But they try to do things, viral and things like that. More people want to see women. They want to see women wrestle and stuff like that. So I see that basically when I don't want to say it was a drought, but some women wrestlers weren't doing certain things, and some weren't even going against the men at the time.
Sometimes they just want to be there, put on a little outfit, run around, yay, cheer for me, and go on about their day. They don't really be serious. So yeah, I say it is hard to find like dedicated women. And then like you say, slim picking. So like the people you do have, they may not put their best foot forward, because it's like, hey, I'm all you got. So, take me as I am, Yeah.
And I've been in locker rooms to where people do have the woman who don't want to really wrestle. She just want to get paid and show up. And sometimes, she's not that great of a wrestler, because some people do settle for less because they can draw, or they're very popular, or they got a deal on bringing them in and stuff like that. So you do have a lot of people, not women, some men do it too. So, but I'm just saying, going back into the women aspect of it, they rather not wrestle. They just want to get paid to, show up and stuff like that. So what's another pro you got, baby?
Another pro. Sometimes it makes sense, because I do have a con that sometimes, a match, it doesn't make sense. Like, why these 2 people fighting? But sometimes it do make sense. And when like the 2 people that you put together, it can be like something magical,
Yeah. With psychology, I try to talk about it the best way I can and try to be clear cut about it and stuff like that. Some things can make sense as far as like intergender matches, and I'm not saying like mixed tags. I'm just talking about a one-on-one. But you do have to think about, like, a lot of it has to make sense, and it could make sense. But I also think that it is an oversaturation of intergender matches and stuff like that.
Yeah, it can be overdone sometimes.
When you think of like women who have the believable factor of going against the man and winning and stuff like that, you have, China.
Mm-hmm.
And China, how she looked, especially back in the day. Rest in peace. How she used to clothesline. I remember one time she ran all the way down the Titantron and she clotheslined Rikishi, and Rikishi flip bump with it. And how she like went against smaller guys, and we just watched her go against Triple H, and Triple H was a little. He was pulling some of them moves. He was pulling some of them strikes back.
And that's the kind.
And he was pulling some of them strikes back. You know what I'm saying? It didn't look like legit. And then China would low blow men, body slam men, would do certain things, and then they was always teasing her, like basically going for the men's title. She was an Intercontinental champion too.
Yeah.
And she was feuding with Jericho. And then the thing with Eddie Guerrero and stuff like that. But with this one, how she's portrayed as a powerhouse, as a monster, the muscles and stuff, look like she has more muscles than some of the men.
Like she looked good. She fit that.
But even with that, when Triple H was punching her, when she was standing up, I'm saying she was selling because you
have to.
But even then, like I look okay. Well, I'm gonna save some of that on the con. But let me read this comment. How did you? We met. I used to work with her brother, and that's how we got to meet, and we've been cool ever since. But going back into the like believable thing, a lot of things that they're doing now with like Rhea Ripley's, they're showing stuff, and then like even like dark shows and stuff, they showing her like pick up and slam Rey Mysterio, who's shorter and stuff like that, and even Tozawa. I like what they did because Tozawa didn't want to hit her, and she was like teasing and stuff, and she's like way bigger and taller than the guy and stuff like that. So it's things like that too. You could say somewhat of a believability. A lot of people are comparing Rhea to China, and China is a legend in the game, but I do think that Rhea, wrestling wise, is a better wrestler. Now she's not.
Yeah.
She's getting there. She's getting there to have the star status of China and stuff like that. She can really wrestle. I love how she does certain things and stuff like that. But yeah, I think she's a very solid wrestler. Yeah. Yeah. Jeff, I believe he wanted like over $100,000 to even do that. Yep, I definitely remember that.
That's crazy though.
Honestly though,
that's crazy.
No. Honestly though, like think about if a man lose to a girl.
I know, and that's part of the cons. Like you lose like credibility and stuff. So it's like, okay,
you could.
At least I got paid, but dang, like dang,
I mean, you do have some guys that will not go against a woman unless it's like a mixed tag or something that's in sense and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know because I went against a guy and he didn't really want to do the match, so they said he could wear a mask and basically change his identity and all this dramatic stuff, which was fine.
Yeah, so it some people, and I'm not gonna sit here and be like, well, you should do what the booker says or the promoter says and stuff like that. I low key understand why some guys choose not to or they don't want to, especially when they hearing what's going down. Honestly, I do. It depends on how you say it and how you present yourself. That is also the case as well. So
yeah.
What's another pro you got, baby?
My last pro is
you got just one more pro?
Yeah, I'm not gonna kill y'all. It teach people how to adapt, basically. Like you said, they has to pay that man. That's crazy, but whatever. Sometimes you get into a situation and you have to know how to just take it as it is. If they tell me I have to wrestle a woman, a man, or a midget, you have to kind of, see the bigger picture. Sometimes promoters, they tell you stuff for a reason. They're trying to get you on a certain path without telling you too much. And, sometimes you mess up your chance, by saying no or whatnot.
I will say this though, even like about like wrestlers like not supporting it and not doing it. I do understand. You know, you do have a lot of wrestlers out there that push for psychology and legitimacy and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes it's not just doing what the booker and the promoter say. You know, you are a wrestler and stuff like that. And then, you know, some guys were trained by strict trainers and stuff like that. And then seeing them lose and how they lose. And sometimes it's about how you lose and how the match is and stuff like that. Those kind of things are factors into it as well. You know, I'll use Rey Mysterio as an example, right? Rey Mysterio is way smaller than a lot of the wrestlers he go against. But you don't see Rey Mysterio really like German suplexing a lot of people. You don't see him body slamming a lot of people, power bombing people. You don't see all of that from Rey Mysterio as being a smaller man and stuff like that. And then when I look at stuff, especially independence, you see all of it. You know, it's just like how many poison ranas do we have to see? Usually a poison rana is like the double down or the cutoff, you know, the back hurricane rana. And it's like, you know, there's ways around that, and you can do certain things and you can build it up and stuff like that. But then, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand some of it. I definitely do. I do think with women who do go against guys, the guy is small, snobby person, snobby bad guy. Like I've seen it at Now That's Wrestling. It works. I've seen it with faces who don't want to actually wrestle women and stuff like that. Like it works certain things, but then when you try to do that Goku versus Vegeta thing, evenly matched stuff, I think that it's oversaturated now. And to me, my opinion, it's not that special anymore when you see it every day and every weekend and stuff like that. So, so you think? Yeah, I think it was definitely like, I want to say 100,000, 150, 150,000. It was a lot.
That's crazy.
So, let me see. What else is going on, Brett? Have you ever wrestled anyone? Nah, never.
Oh no.
No. I would never do that because I'm all about safety and stuff like that. And anybody doing that, they really shouldn't even be in the wrestling ring. Sure, I'm gonna get my wife on you. She gonna win because that's what intergender. Anyway. So cons, baby.
Okay, cons for me. The number one con is sometimes it takes away from like the reality. Like a long time ago, I used to, I don't want to say think it was real, you know, but I used to believe like,
I get what you're saying.
You know,
we understand.
I believe if I clap real hard, like my guy's going to get up. But once you start seeing a lot of women, like you say, super strong, you know, my size taking out, you know, somebody the size of Triple H or whatever the case may be, it's like, you know, it's not believable, basically.
I agree. This banner thing is messing up. Give me 1 second, guys. But yeah, going back into it. There we go. Going back into it, I do think that you lose lure, if that makes an aura to it when you do certain things. And like you said, women that are like way smaller, picking up bigger guys and stuff like that. And then you literally see the guy throwing themselves or jumping higher. Like you don't even jump that high when you're going against the guy or when the guy muscles you over. You're not, it's too choreographed. And it was like, I remember, shout out to Willow Nightingale. I like her. She went against the guy and like the guy, I think they were trying to do like a top rope power bomb or something off the top rope. And like the guy literally was like jumping to exert it. And it just looked so messed up. And it's like, we have a story to tell and things like that. And it's just like when you do stuff like that, it's like, what's the point of even doing this match if you're not even selling that she's very strong? You're not even selling that. You're just trying to do a this is awesome thing. You know, if you do it right and you do it well, the crowd will pop if a woman does a regular power slam. Let alone now you trying to do a power bomb
Right.
off the top rope, you know.
And then a week later she loses to somebody smaller.
Yeah.
Like what?
All right, Brett, you have a great one. It's all right. Nathan says, shout out to you, Nathan. I definitely see both points. Was a child, I also was a child of Lucha Underground with the intergender stuff all the time. It just became natural to me. But I definitely see. Yeah, Lucha Underground, this is actually a good point, and I didn't have any pictures and stuff like that. Lucha Underground was it kind of made a little more sense. Like, and I understand, especially with Lucha background and heritage and stuff like that. Some of these guys and gals, they were doing this when they were kids. You know, the ring was in the backyard and stuff like that, and they've been training and things like that. But with Lucha Underground, it was usually like smaller guys, and the guys were like the size of the women and stuff like that. And women was doing smaller women stuff. Hurricanranas, you know, that's when you can do a poison rana a lot, or DDTs and splashes and dive out spots. You know, a lot of those guys wasn't that big outside of Brian Cage, Willie Mack, Matanza, Ricky Banderas' character. I forgot his Mil Muertes. Like, it was only like a few guys that were actually like big. And to my knowledge, I don't remember a lot of them doing some of that crazy stuff like that. Now, I could be wrong. But yeah, it's definitely definitely one of those things. It's just like, okay, size can actually help it, especially if they're bigger than the guy or they're somewhat of the same size and stuff like that. I do know in other cultures and wrestling and stuff like that, a lot of intergender stuff happens and stuff is equal and everything like that. Right. I don't have to agree with that though. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I definitely understand. That was actually a good point to bring up, Nathan. So everything is good with you. Did you guys by chance watch the Jonathan Gresham? No, I didn't. We saw like pictures of certain things, but no, we didn't see it. But I can probably tell you how it went down without even seeing it. Now, speaking of Jordan Grace is one of those women. Shout out to her and everything she does, and shout out to her husband, Jonathan Gresham, and everything. You know, she does a lot of intergender matches and stuff like that. And low key, she do be bigger than a lot of the guys that she going against, and her husband too. No shade. Right. She knows she married. But anyway, she is one of those ones that go against bigger guys, the smaller guys, and then even bigger guys and stuff like that. Now, what she does to smaller guys, I can somewhat understand, because most of these guys don't have any muscle mass outside of her husband. No shade to them. But then I would look at a match with Brian Cage.
Yep.
And Brian Cage is like that guy was saying that was going against Willow Nightingale, bumping crazy and all of this stuff, flipping around, German suplexes, all his power bombs and all that. Now, I know that you're trying to sell that Jordan Grace is strong and something. She looks a lot better now with working out and conditioning. I do understand that you're trying to sell that. You're trying to make people get behind that. You get what I'm saying? But there's certain ways that you can do it. You know, you don't have to bump. Or eventually, at first, they were teasing it. They're doing it right. She couldn't pick him up. She couldn't do this. She could only do like strikes. And she was a little quicker. But then eventually, Brian Cage was getting thrown around, flipped around, landed on his feet, and stuff like that. And then even with Brian Cage, right? Like, and then, you know, Brian Cage is kind of, I don't want to say notorious, you know, shout out to everything he do, but yeah, that man will go against anybody, you know. I remember watching this before, and it was,
oh my God, I forgot about that.
it was a big deal. It was truly a big deal. And I don't want to say it was just this match. Intergender wrestling is very, very popular online. You know, Title Match, I subscribe to them. They share a lot of stuff. A lot of companies do intergender. We had an intergender show, and we're definitely going to talk about that in a little bit. And we're going to talk about why I felt it was different compared to everybody else. It's no shade. Some matches are great, you know, and some don't need to be great, if that makes sense. But yeah, Brian is notorious for a lot of intergender matches and stuff like that. And, you know, he's trying to make the woman look good and stuff like that. And sometimes it's just like, bro, it's like too good. Like, can you imagine Brock Lesnar going against Charlotte and Charlotte just throwing? Not saying I know Brock is like a little bigger than Brian is in height.
I know,
but still, like, just to see on TV, let alone WWE, because WWE does intergender stuff, to see like Brock Lesnar go against Charlotte Flair, and then Flair's throwing him around, throwing him off the top rope and stuff like that. Brock presents a great size to his body and stuff like that. And I think that Brian Cage presents a good size to his body too. But then when he does stuff like this, it's just like, oh, here we go. And I've always said that if something goes viral, if somebody talks about it, other companies are going to pick up and they're going to do the same thing. Same thing with the Royal Rumble. Logan Paul and Ricochet, they did that double clothesline off the top rope. Now, people have done it before. People have seen it before. But now it's more of a viral phenomenon. Now, when I see it, people want to look at it. I've talked about how when Sammy gave Cody that cutter off the ladder, and then everybody else was trying to do cutters and stuff the way he did it, and it just didn't work. So, yeah. What's another con before I start snapping?
Another con is sometimes it could be overdone. You know, every time you turn around, it's another match.
Yeah.
And then sometimes the matches, it doesn't make sense.
It makes it not special.
No.
That's why, like, when I was a kid, I used to love, like, table matches. I know this is random. I used to love, like, table matches. I used to love Falls Count Anywhere matches. I used to love I Quit matches and stuff like that. But then eventually everybody started doing them. And I'm not even seeing people gonna think I'm just talking about AEW. I'm not talking about AEW. I'm talking about independent scene as well. Because some people book the same people and they had the same matches. And then it's just like when you see it all the time, you just like, okay, it's not special no more. And then people say, oh, it's a blood feud. I'm like, every feud doesn't have to be a blood feud. You can do a one and done thing. It doesn't be special anymore. And with wrestling, you do have hardcore. You do have a lot of companies that do intergender matches, and you know the women are going for the top title. Mind you, they have a women's title and stuff like that, and then it becomes oversaturated because everybody wants to go viral. People want those views. They want subscribers. They want sponsorships. They want partnerships. They want all of that stuff. So like women be killing it in the game with wrestling and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll have the smallest girl body slam and power drive Brian Cage, kick out of his drill claw finisher, kick out of a moonsault and everything like that because we want to be behind this girl. And women can do everything that men can do. And that's the aesthetic that I do not like because I remember growing up when a male wrestler would actually hit a female wrestler outside of China, she was out for like a long time. She was rough bumped. You get what I'm saying? So now you're trying to say, now you fast forward. Don't get me wrong. I know people are going to say times have changed, things have changed and stuff like that. But there was a time where if you hit a girl or woman with a finisher or a punch or a chair, they wasn't getting up. Now it's fight forever. It's this and that. Fighting spirit from Japan. Machine gun chops. It's everything. And to me, it's just like, bruh, it's not even special no more. It's not. Let me go into some comments. I think TNA made a mistake putting the men's world title on Tessa. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Tessa was a great, she still wrestles. She's a great wrestler outside her attitude. And looking at everything that they were setting up in TNA, we knew that they was going to put the belt on her. You know, they kept teasing it and everything, but we knew that they were going to put the belt on her. And it was like when she was going against Brian Cage and Brian Cage was bumping around and all of that stuff. I'm like, well, somebody else is going to fly around and bump around and poison Ranas and all of that stuff. And it wound up being Sammy Callahan, who was the TNA champ. And then she winds up beating him. And around the time, this is when La Rosa Negra and a whole bunch of other women said that she spit on her, called her out her name, and blah, blah, blah. And TNA was like, you know what? We still going to pull the trigger on this. And when they pulled the trigger on it, people didn't want to see her. People couldn't stand her. All of that stuff. And then even she didn't even want to get a belt back. She wanted to charge them to give the belt back and all of that. And honestly, that put a bad stain on women that's trying to do stuff and do things like that. You know, I don't generalize like that. I don't generalize like that at all. But at the same time, it was a nasty stain.
Well, okay.
No.
She
gonna get me, y'all.
Shut up.
Help!
I definitely understand what you're saying.
Help!
I understand. But not being, devil advocate, like she deserved to be blackballed in a sense, like, your actions, not acceptable, all that stuff. But it's a lot of time guys do the same thing, spit on each other, say all type of names, doing all this stuff, and they still put belts and everything else on them. So it ain't, they wanted to do what they wanted to do. She was gonna get the belt one way or another because they don't care about that.
Nah, yeah, if you're a piece of trash in the locker room, you shouldn't even be in a locker room. But we know from other companies, WWE, AW, some people, I don't want to say are cancerous, but they are an illness, let's say that, in the locker room. And sometimes people put so much money and stock in something, you're going to do it. The thing was, just wasn't a good payoff because people was already booing her before she won the belt because of everything that happened. Now, if you are a man, you're a piece of trash, you shouldn't do it neither. Randy Orton admits that he was a piece of trash a couple times when he was younger and stuff like that. At least he's accountable for it. And with Tessa she was on Women of Wrestling. She was on that for a little bit, won the belt. And then now she's going again, but she's booked in like Texas and stuff. So it's like he brought up Tessa. So, but yeah, people look at what's online. They look at Facebook and stuff when things go viral and people book it. We talked about Superhuman, the guy that jumps on Legos, microwaves, barbed wire. We look at all that. We look at him do all this stuff, knowing something is wrong with the guy, and then he gets booked somewhere to do this stuff. And then the Walmart guys will be super kicking and stunnering each other and stuff like that. And they get booked somewhere and stuff like that. Anything that's viral, it doesn't even matter about safety and overall protecting the locker room because everybody wants to expose the locker room. Now, with intergender matches, I can see a spot for it. I can see a place for it. But how you do it is very important because that's just like when a super kick was a finisher. Now it sets up for moves that look worse than a super kick. Now it's horrible. It's different. Like I just talked about when a man would strike a woman in wrestling, she was out. Now guys are super kicking, power driving, Canadian destroyer, power bomb, last right, all that. And that's not taking a woman out. I'm not saying that the woman. Well, I'm trying to say it the right way. But you get what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, it's just so different now. So give me a chop.
Oh, please don't start me.
Your party was a dope fiend the following year. Yeah, you got a point. And, unfortunately, he's still fighting these demons now. I don't know if he's going to come back in AEW, but, AEW, they was like, a lot of companies will give him a chance still. Even if he went to the independents, people will pay for that. They would risk their reputation as a company. A lot of companies risk their reputation for anything that's viral or anything like that, death matches and all this other stuff that, done right could work, but some of it don't because people just do anything to just try to make money and stuff like that. What's another con? And then I'll just go into our show.
It kind of went on when I was talking about the pros, how it takes away from the star, credibility basically. You going against a small woman and you're doing all this stuff, it don't look good sometimes. And then sometimes you kind of can get an idea how like the guy is. Like if, like I said, the guy who I had to wrestle was like making a big deal. Like he had to have a whole mask on, a whole suit on, and we didn't even do nothing crazy, but it was the fact that he was going against a woman. Like, oh my goodness.
No, but like I said, I understand though. I understand to a certain thing. Like these are the things that if a booker books you and then they say, hey, I want you to go against this woman, and then you don't agree with how they want it to go down, you'll literally say no, and then that booker and people will say you're gonna be blacklisted because of this and that, the other. Like it's okay to still protect the business. I'll say that. I wrestle for only a few companies, and I'm totally fine with that. Shout out to everybody that's giving me an opportunity and stuff like that. But I'll be looking at stuff and I'll be like, yep, if I was ever go there, they want me to do this and that. And I ain't down with that. I'm not down with this. You want to do this? Nah, I'm not. And I'm cool with it, man. Look, some things ain't worth compromising. and me, trying to protect the business or what's left of it. That's just one of those things that I just can't see myself doing. Now, will I slip up and might do something? I'll turn around and be like, dang, I shouldn't have did that. Yes, I will say that. But at the same time, there's like some decorum to uphold. And I do think it's just different now because people want that money. They want that to be viral. They want this and that. And then when people start turning off the TV and stuff, Jonte talks about how there's money here, but nobody's getting it because everybody's doing the same thing. They're not risking nothing. Then what? Then what happens? There was that video of the dog. The person was had the dog on a leash, and the lady who was training the dog was in the ring with them and training the dog to jump on the guy's pin. Yeah. If that got like 10 million views, do you know how many dog matches we would have had? We would have had Beethoven versus Brock Lesnar or something like that. Y'all know that. Scooby versus Steve Austin. I'm just picking up names, but I'm just saying, like, if that picked up a lot of steam and went viral, people would be trying to train their dogs to be professional wrestlers. So
I'm gonna leave that alone.
It's the truth. Come on, man. It's the truth. Like, dog championship wrestling, the dog pound match, Scooby Doo. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Talking about interspecies matches, but would you say absolutely not? See, this is the thing, and I've said this a lot. I've said this like with certain things, is I do care about my company and stuff, and I do want it to grow, and it has grown. Shout out to everybody that supports, helps me do a whole bunch of things. But it's some things that I just wouldn't do, especially at this moment and stuff like that. And I'm more of trying to get local guys more than outside or anything like that. I'll try to bring in somebody a couple times or whatever, but I usually try to bring people around the area and stuff like that, because I do think that what I have and what they have and stuff, we're better than a lot of the stuff that's seen online and stuff. And that's no shade, but it's time to sit under the tree. I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. Edge and Lita didn't want to do the sex thing in the ring. I think that jobs. Yeah, Lita talks about it, but she still did it. And like I said, people do want to keep their job and stuff like that. But when you got to compromise how you feel as a person, it was bad enough the situation where she cheated on Matt and all that. It was bad enough. And then to do that, sometimes it's okay to say no. It's fine to say no, I do want to talk about what we did. I almost said a year ago, but it's 2023. In 2021, we had a intergender show, and majority of the matches, it was intergender, and we also had mixed tags. We did have a cancellation, and we did have to pick up something from the fly. But I like to do things to where I can make sense out of something if it's possible. And I think who I booked and the people who showed up, they did a great job on this show. I've always said psychology. And if you looked at all the matches, you'd be like, okay, I understand it. Now, despite me feeling a certain way about intergender matches, I do think that this card and this show was a great way to show how to do it. And I also got kickback from a few people because a lot of people did not like the idea. And that's their opinion. That's their opinion. They were like, hey, maybe one match, maybe two match, but a whole card. Oh, well, this is going to be crazy and stuff like that, because I do think they are thinking like how some people would think as well. Some people aren't big on cage matches the whole show. Some people are like, nah, let's just do the main event and stuff like that. But I do want to say I did get pushback, but it was a great show. Hey, subscribe to the C3 Ultimate Wrestling channel. Look at the matches. This was our main event.
Oh, yeah.
Miles Mercer versus KO Kendra. Now, I don't like what Miles did afterward, to win, but KO Kendra has faced a lot of guys and stuff like that, and everything makes sense. Everything connects. Everything is good and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? It's done right. You can do it right, because sometimes wrestlers don't show up. Sometimes things do happen and stuff like that. And before this, I didn't have a women's champion at the time neither. That even goes into effect about how women are going against men for the men titles. Now, if you have a women's title and a woman wins the main title, how important is your women's title?
Right.
What's the point? At this point, why don't everybody, all genders, just go for the main title?
Yeah.
So, but this was a great match. I liked how they executed this. This was a wonderful match. It's on the C3 Ultimate Wrestling YouTube page. This was a wonderful match. It was a lot of great matches though.
Who was that?
That's Classic Alpha. That's me. And that's against Sensational Shay.
Oh, I ain't noticed.
No, I'm just saying, girl. You saying, yeah, but I'm saying it's possible, but it's a certain way to do it. And me, I took a risk. We took a risk because I had about 6 matches with 5 because, like I said, one was a 1-on-1 with 2 men. But it's a chance because it's a theme, but it's also like a wrestling theme, if that makes sense, and things like that.
And even though we got a kickback, that was like the most highest sales we had in tickets.
Yeah, and that's like that even goes to the point I was saying earlier, outside of people wanting to see intergender matches, because there's a lot of views on YouTube for those matches. It's a lot of views. But outside of that, we had like family and stuff and friends and people who I work with and homies and stuff. They showed up because they wanted to support. They wanted to see what this is about and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely see the money. I definitely see the draw in it and stuff like that. But at the same time, like I said,
and
I'm just saying, yeah, and I'm saying this because I know a lot of people might be like, oh, Chris, you just promoting your company. Darn right, I'm promoting my company. If you look, if you go to it, if you go to this right here, go to the YouTube page and you look at the matches, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Even after that, I had to push back with one of my matches that was on there. And then I went in on the person that said something about it because I'm like, this person has no place to talk to me about it. And people was hitting me up about it because dude was talking out of pocket. I'm like,
you see this man?
I protect mine. I'm sorry. I protect mine. You know, if I mess up, if things mess up, there was things that messed up at Press Start too, which you should also check the matches out on the C3 Ultimate Wrestling page. We just dropped the intergender match with Renee Van Peebles versus Mike Strong because something happened. But anyway, going into that, I defend mine. And then if I mess up, I'm accountable for that as well. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I say it, if you have an issue with anything or any match, you talk to me and then we handle the situation if it's meant to be handled. Because I go about my life. You know what I'm saying? But that's just one of those things. Because I do know, hey, well, Chris, didn't you have one? Yes, I did. But I do think that psychology, stuff making sense, people enjoying it, people wanting to come back. And low-key might have been the reason why we ain't at the building no more, because they saw it and they probably was trying to get a little more money off the situation. We ain't going there. Mm-hmm. We ain't going there. But yeah, mm-hmm. I'm going to read some comments. Let's see. Pimp can Kennedy, man. That's funny. If I may ask, where do you find your wrestlers? It's just around, you know what I'm saying? It just becomes like a community to where, like, you know, I wrestle for other shows and then like we talk and then I'm friends with some people and I started in the business with a lot of people and some people were showing me the ropes, like Atlas, who's in the chat and stuff like that, when I would go to Woodstock and we would talk about certain things. Or if I go live years ago when I first started doing Facebook Lives, you know, people would talk and we talk about certain things. And then even for the company page, I get hit up about opportunities and stuff like that.
So the answer is not around, it's networking.
I didn't want to just say networking, but yeah, it's literally outside networking. If you saw a personal issue between your talent, would you put them? No, not like what happened. Not like what happened with the. No, yeah. I wouldn't. Oh, no. That's serious stuff. I mean, I wouldn't even have went as far. Like some people can do that. Like even Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle in TNA. When Jeff Jarrett was married to Karen Angle, Kurt's ex-wife, and then they was doing storylines with that. And now they still beefing apparently. So at this point, at every
come on, let's do it. We'll have a better shot. Shoot.
And don't be looking at me, man. I had to get used to. I had to get used. I mean, it's my fault. Accountability, guys. That's the word of the day. I wish I could edit real quick, put accountability in my hands. But yeah. But no. Do you have any more comments, baby?
No more pros and cons.
Okay. I will say this.
What?
I'm trying to see if I have any more pictures, but I like mixed tags. I think those make good sense sometimes, not all the time. I do think they do make sense. For example, I remember when Rhonda came back. Rhonda debuted and stuff, and then they did the.
Oh man, they made that lady wrestle.
Kurt Angle. Who wrestled? She wanted to wrestle. It made sense. It made sense though. She did good. She because she was the authority with her husband. It made sense. This was a great match, by the way. This was a great match. And then even outside of me seeing smaller, women picking up bigger guys, they did a great job with even selling Ronda because Ronda was considered the baddest woman on the planet. You get what I'm saying? UFC armbar and all that. I'm not putting my personal feelings in it, but they really hyped it up to her being like one of the most fiercest competitors ever. And I think that, Triple H and Kurt Angle and Steph was showing her how things work and stuff. And I do think at that time, she did a great job.
Yeah, she did better than Cody Rhodes' wife.
So now, since we're talking about mixed tag,
that poor lady.
Mixed tag, we talk about Cody Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes and who was it? Red Velvet versus Jade Cargill and Shaq.
That was.
The issue was, I think the wrestlers wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. Cody took a power bomb from Shaq and got up like it was nothing. Now, I was like, you wild for that. Red Velvet did a moonsault and fell on everybody. I mean, that's common, but it was how she did the moonsault was something. Shaq going through the table and then the fans recording when they put him in the ambulance, and 2 seconds later he just walked out like nothing happened. So, but no, intergender mixed tax. It's tax season, y'all.
Oh no,
it's tax season. Do y'all smell that? That's the smell of new wrestling companies. Anyway,
hey.
Anyway, going back into it, mixed tags, they work a lot. To me, they work a lot better because of, you have the man has to face the man, the woman has to face the man, and then you sprinkle stuff in it to make it entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Now I can see like a girl just like not power bombing, Hurricane a man who got beat up by the man earlier and stuff like that because they were using a lot of energy and stuff like that. I can see stuff. I could definitely see stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? What was it? Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins versus, what was it? Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. Like, that made sense to me. I thought that match was pretty good, was pretty solid as well. So I'm trying to think of other ones. I know like AW did like a couple with Adam Cole and Britt Baker versus, I want to say Scott Blue and somebody. And then Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti, they went against Ruby Soho and Ortiz and stuff like that. And those matches be okay and stuff like that, but yeah.
Do you have a favorite match? Like
intergender match?
Yes.
I do actually.
Why are you looking?
Because actually we had our match was pretty good. I liked what was portrayed. And then I don't know if you remember when we was in Gary and it was you and I know it was you and D'Angelo Steele versus me and Kale Kendra. It was in the park.
Oh yeah.
That was a good match too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If I had to look outside of intergender matches that don't pertain to me, I did like Acid Jazz versus KO Kendra. I think this was at Galley or something like that. Now that's wrestling at Out of Control. It was Preston Palmer versus Brooke Tanner. That was entertaining.
Yeah, it was.
That was good and stuff like that. Jacqueline used to go against Chavo Guerrero for the cruiserweight title. That was good. Even Jericho and China was good. Not saying even as in like,
right.
but yeah, it's some good ones. But at the same time, there's psychology, and psychology is very important. I don't need to see power drivers, men 300 pounds getting power drive by a woman that's 113, soaking wet, or poison runners and stuff like that. Or this dude hit all these moves on this woman. Now usually does one move to take the man out, but then the woman is kicked out or whatever like that. I don't think that's necessary. But like I said, people want to go viral, but I think people are going to watch it just because it's a man versus a woman. People are going to watch it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I like Jazz versus Bubba Ray.
You put me on that one.
Yeah, I put you on that one. It was comical. I'm used to him putting people through tables and whatnot. He was like dancing, and she got mad and was pulling all this stuff from underneath the ring, and it was just so funny to see. But also the gals versus girl, hold on.
Gals versus gals. Oh, you talking about this right here? Hold on. You talking about this show that people can watch right now on YouTube and watch press start? Look, I done got too happy. This show? Oh yeah.
But this match right here. KO Kendra versus Miles, that was entertaining.
It was good. I just don't like how he did it.
What you didn't like? Huh? What you didn't like about it?
How he won.
But that's what he do.
I cheated.
That's what he do.
I ain't like that.
It made sense.
Yep. Shout out to you, Josh. Great photographer friend. He sends me a lot of great pictures from the Now That's Wrestling show. He sent me he gave me the DVD when I went against Devin Drake. Very good person, man. He's very entertained, he's very entertained, taking pictures and everything like that. He sent me some pictures. I uploaded them today on the Alpha page. Those two complement each other. Priceless, Preston Palmer and Brooke. Yep.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. Sometimes it works well and it works great. So I'm not saying that intergender matches are unnecessary and they don't need to happen. I'm not saying that. It's definitely some ways that you can do it that is acceptable and also entertaining and have psychology and storytelling and things like that. I definitely understand that there is a place for it. Do I think it needs to be everywhere? No, I don't. But like I said, people want to be viral. They want to get paid and stuff like that. Yeah, I remember Ricochet versus Will Ospreay in Japan. It went so crazy. They got booked everywhere, and they did the same match, and then they had their girlfriends in it. They was doing the same things they was doing and stuff like that. They went to the UK. They did all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was trying to book a bank off of one match. And it might have worked, but at the same time, it's not special anymore if you continue to do the same thing over and over.
Yeah, I mean, for a little bit, you can do it because that's what comedians do.
True, but the thing with comedians, though, most of the time is it's not recorded. But unless, like, a fan, because I've seen, like, people, like, record a comedian in the crowd. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't know at first of a comedian circuit to where they're using these same jokes for the tours that they're at. The reason why I found out about that was because when Cat Williams was like the hottest comedian ever, my stepmom used to buy all his DVDs, and Walmart came out of nowhere with a whole bunch of Cat Williams DVDs. And we watched them, and I was like, he said this so many times. But the older I get, I understand it's a part of the circuit. It's a part of the routine.
But some wrestlers, like you say, they overseas wrestling. They don't think, well, now people know to watch New Japan. I'm just saying. They go over there, they do their thing, come over here, do some couple independent stuff. They don't think, So I don't see nothing wrong with it per se. Because some people will literally see a match that they like or whatever and do exactly that match with whoever, not the same person, but a whole nother person. Like, let's do this Rey Mysterio versus whoever. Let's do this
You gotta be careful with that. I'm down with tributes. I really am. I'm down with tributes. But when it's just too blatant obvious and stuff, everybody was happy. And even me was excited about the Owen Hart Cup tournament in AEW. But then when I watched like a guy named Promo Joke, he put like a compilation of everybody emulating a lot of Owen and Brett stuff. Now, love those two wrestlers, Owen and Brett and stuff. But good Lord, it was like everything was like to the T. And I was like, come on, man. But I understood. I do tributes and stuff and things like that. I don't say where it is and stuff, but some people can possibly find it. But
boo.
She act like she want to have a rematch. Oh, you see how she do me, y'all? You see how she do me? She ain't learned.
No, you didn't learn.
She ain't got the gun. She ain't got the gun. But no, I just wanted to give my my 2 cents and her 2 cents, and so we can have a little change to make some change. Hold it down. But this conversation, it came up because I do look at a lot of wrestling. I do see a lot of stuff with intergender. Then I remember when I was doing Press Start 2 in the back, I was talking to a couple guys, Atlas included. We were talking about like something about it and things like that. And it was like most of us were on the same page about how things should be and how it should be and stuff like that. It just has to make sense. And I think most people are out the loop with that on purpose. They don't want it to make sense because they want it to look cool. And when you make it look cool, sometimes it looks phony and stuff like that. And I understand even me talking and us talking and stuff like that, and the format and how things have quote unquote changed. But everything doesn't need to change. You get what I'm saying? Everybody's like, oh, we got to get with the time. I'm like, no, I don't have to get with the times with certain things like with wrestling and things like that. So I did feel like it was very important to say. Are there any more things you would like to say to the audience?
No, I still think it's needed though. Like, don't
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I said it was.
I'm making sure.
I said it. I see a place in it for wrestling.
One of my not first match, but whatever, number 3 or something. I went against Rion Steels, and he had a wig on.
That was Rihanna.
His name was Rihanna.
Get it right. It's Rihanna.
And he had, was it a dashiki? He had a dress on, but it wasn't a dress. I don't know what he had on, but that was a good match.
It was.
I know it was.
It was a good match. But I see a place for it. It's just the structure and the psychology in it. It's just very important. And I already say that every fight, every match don't need to be equal. And now you sprinkling women in it and stuff like that. And it's just like every match that don't need to be the major aspect. Like these people act like they don't wrestle every weekend, which they do. But still, it's okay with telling the story. There's nothing wrong with that. So,
oh my delicious.
Well, I'm going to prepare for my sermon at 7 today. I hope to see you guys there. I will share it afterwards. I did want to speak about intergender wrestling. Like I said, I'll be honest about certain things, and sometimes I don't be right. Sometimes, I just give my thoughts and stuff. I'm going to go back on interviewing people and stuff like that. Try to get a whole bunch of stuff set up. I didn't want to talk about this. Leave comments, questions, topics, or anything like that. Shout out to everybody that commented. Rob, Atlas, Brett, Nathan, Josh. Trying to see, did I forget anybody? Yeah, I think I got everybody. Yep. Shout out to everything that y'all doing. God bless you guys. Let's tell them bye.
All right, bye.
This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.